So it definitely makes you more attuned to the environment that you're in right now. So I will give it up to them! Oh lord, no. Come on, Blake, this is not the time to be screwing up for your viewers right now. You're supposed to be helping them learn how to play this game better, not mess this up! Ah!
Here we go!
Man, do I really have to bother playing this stage? Like, come on, guys, really? Nobody even likes this zone. Do I even need to bother with it? I think you all won't mind if I skip over it, will you? Yeah, let's do that. Nah, just kidding! Well, I mean, I definitely don't like this stage, but we're doing a full playthrough, so if I skip over it, that would sort of defeat the purpose, wouldn't it? What's up, people? This is your chief of the Blue Blurs, Gamer Blake 90, bringing you a third episode in my Sonic 4 Episode 1 playthrough series. A bit of repetitive wordplay on my part, considering I said the word episode twice in one sentence, but I think you all got the point. So in this video, we're going to be going through my least favorite zone in the game, and that is the Lost Labyrinth Zone. If you haven't realized it by now, it's loosely inspired by the concept of Sonic 1's Labyrinth Zone, although, one of the few compliments— well, crap, I missed that upper platform. Dang it! Gotta learn to remember to brake at the right time when you are launched off that edge, so you won't have to end up falling off of the platform, because they will not stay suspended for long. But, like I said, I had to be fair here. Although I don't like the layout of Lost Labyrinth, and believe me, especially in the second act, it can be a pain in the butt. Sonic 4 Episode 1's artistic direction was never known to be all that great. However, I do think that in comparison to the original Labyrinth Zone, this is somewhat a step up the ladder, because the way the background is depicted here, with all of these archways, these pillars, and these beams of sunshine peeking down from the surface above us, this stage does a much better job of conveying to you the message that you are stranded within a trap-ridden labyrinth, and you really have to play it cautious trying to find your way out, even as the fastest thing alive. And in that sense, Lost Labyrinth does have some pros. I really do like how they went about designing the stage from an artistic standpoint. I think it was really good. And also, that creepy looking panel in the background right there, yikes! Definitely sends shivers down my spine, though not as much of a second act for its limited visibility, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now, despite how much I dislike this stage, I am not without my share of tips and tricks that can help you overcome this stage a lot better than you are in case you're having trouble with it. For instance, when you are running along these— well, that may not have been the best time to try the air dash right there, but I was going to say that, as I talked about in the Casino Street Zone, you can utilize the air dash to better increase your mobility, and that will help you make your way down those sloping pathways while you're being chased by those boulders. But, as you just seen, you have to use it correctly, or you could get yourself caught on a corner and potentially damaged by the boulder itself. Luckily, those do not cause an instant death by crushing if you end up getting hit by them. They just hit you the same as any other badnik would if you run into them without being balled up first. But all the same, be careful how you use the air dash. Also, you have to keep your balance on these boulders as you're riding them along these lanes right here, or you could fall off them and potentially into a death gap. What you want to do is rapidly tilt the stick to the left and right, or D-pad if you prefer as such, to maintain your balance while these boulders run their course until you make it to the very end. That's pretty easy to do, honestly. It's not particularly challenging to deal with, and if you're feeling particularly gutsy, you can make some early exit off the boulders, and you can find some hidden sections. Like, there was one I passed by earlier in the first act where you could get an extra life if you made an earlier jump, as opposed to riding the boulder all the way down. I don't exactly remember if I showed it off or not, considering that my attention is more focused on being educational. But yeah, oh lordy! Exhibit A as to why I don't like Lost Labyrinth. The second act has such limited visibility that it's just straight out not fun. However, you are equipped with a torch that will help you light the way. And along the way, you can light up these things to give you some more visibility, although it'll only cover the immediate area at where that torch is residing. And at other times, you will need to solve puzzles that will include lighting up these torches. And this definitely ties into a section that I find to be freaking puzzling even 10 years after the release of Sonic 4 Episode 1. And eventually we will come across that section, but for now, we're gonna take ourselves a breather because luckily, not all of the stage is engulfed in darkness. Now and then you'll come across sections that are not covered in darkness, so you'll be able to see a lot better without the need for the torch. However, as you have just realized, there will be those blocks that you will need to destroy in order to ensure your progress through this stage, and you will do that by lighting up dynamites using the torch you've got on hand. But be careful because once you light it up, if you're standing too close to the explosion when it happens, you will take damage. So as soon as you light the fuse, make sure you are at a good distance, or you'll end up losing rings. And speaking of rings, we're gonna pick up 100 right now and get ourselves yet another extra life. Like I said before, this game's pretty generous extra lives. Also, we're reenacting Donkey Kong Country with these minecarts! Woo! Yikes, 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 yikes! Oh, man. Ah! Oh, never mind. That's a safe point there. We're good. That means we're off the minecart. However, if you've noticed, along the cart that along the track on which we were riding the cart, there are those exclamation mark signs that will serve as warning signals as to when you need to jump so you don't end up falling into a death gap. And I actually thought we just now did that. Okay, there were obviously these driller bandits peeking out underground, but how do I get them to jump out exactly? Oh, well, okay. I guess that's one way to go about it. Now, let's see. This must be one of those, wait, actually, no. You'd have to light the 2 torches, and the gate opens up, and you are good to go. So it wasn't the section I was referring to earlier, but when you see it, you will know. Whew. But yeah, man, although I'm pretty okay at running through this stage, I just never liked it, especially for the second act, which I just find to be so aggravating. I can deal with it from having played through it so much back in 2010, or early 2011, I think. I just don't like it. It certainly looks good artistically, but the layout just freaking aggravates me, especially the second act. And the soundtrack is certainly no more memorable than that of the original Labyrinth Zone. And it's very rare that I find myself not feeling the soundtrack for a Sonic game, but this is one of those occasions. Like, the background certainly does a good job of conveying the fact that you are definitely stranded and trapped in a labyrinth, but the soundtrack, I just feel like it could have been way better. Or maybe I'm being a little bit too picky for my own good. I know some people do like Sonic 4, and it's not like I don't have my share of elements that I enjoy about Sonic 4 myself, but, well... Uh-oh. Wait, no. This isn't the section I was referring to earlier, was it? It is! Bruh! Oh my gosh! I don't like this. I don't like it at all. If you wonder why I don't like it, you have to light these torches in the correct order, and then wait for one of them to extinguish, so you can make it past the gate that it lowers. Let's see here. I believe it's this, then it's this, and then it's this. And part of why this is so hard, because you don't light the torch in the correct order, the wrong gate will end up retreating first, and you won't be able to make it through here. This makes it so freaking aggravating. But looking at this, I might have an idea how to better manage it. See, each of these torches is tied specifically to a gate that will either open or close when you light them. Just have to light them in the correct order, and then time your movement so that you'll be able to better take advantage of them. Come on, come on, come on, come on! Oh, crap. But I do think I know which gate that is. So let's see. I didn't want to light that. Oh, wait. No, it didn't lower that gate. The one up there, but it's keeping us from moving on. It has to be tied to this torch right there. That's gotta be it. But is there a problem if I don't light that one? Maybe if I could just avoid it, it would help me. Oh, wait a minute, Blake. What did we just say we didn't really like the soundtrack for Lost Labyrinth? Why exactly are we humming to it? Talk about being self-contradictory. Ah! Okay, no, it's not the first torch to which that gate is tied. Let me try this again. I didn't want to light it like that. If I light them at the same time, I'm definitely not going to be able to make it through there. Okay, let me think about this. No! Well, I have to warn you guys, we're gonna be here a while. This section is the bane of my existence when it comes to Lost Labyrinth. Like, most of it I can handle, but this is not one of them. That gate up there is still closed. Can I raise the camera up? Not high enough, apparently. Maybe if I light... Oh! Okay, so lighting up the first torch opens the exit. So I actually do need to light that one. Okay. And I kind of need that for the visibility as well. So we're going to light that first and follow it up with these. Well, I did not mean to light that first torch. And that just trapped us inside here. Oh my god. Are we seriously going to spend minutes dealing with this? Yes, we did it! Ha ha! I cannot believe I spent minutes trying to figure out that particular puzzle. And I didn't need that shield up there considering... sorry, that I already have one in hand. Well, if there was ever a reason that this video might be a little lengthy, this stage would be why. Man, I really, really don't like it. I'm so glad it's over with. Thankfully, the third act is a little bit more... interesting to play through, so I'll be thankful for that experience at least. Except for yet again another particular section about it that I don't really like. I can easily manage it, of course, but again, I don't like it. It's kind of weird, but there are some things that you can be good at without 100% enjoying them. And personally, I don't think that's the healthiest approach to take, to base yourself around a skill set that you don't feel caters to your interests, but... it's a little hard to explain. Alright, so we have more of these panels that we need to blow up using these dynamites, and which will also reveal these bounce pads that we can in turn use to progress through a level. And look at the timer! It's almost 7.5 minutes! I swear to God, man, if it was not with that puzzle, we would be almost done with this act by now, because I don't usually take this long, especially on games that I've already practiced. Now, if it were a live reaction to a game I've never played before, I could excuse it. But other than that, yeah, man. This is a stage where I'm definitely feeling under the weather. But it's alright, we'll power through it. Blue blur for life, right? Oh look, Donkey Kong Country again! But with limited visibility, so thankfully, you won't have to foresee any warning signs in the dark. They'll only happen when the stage is lit, not while you're in dark sections. Thankfully. Because could you imagine if you had to make these jumps while you were in the dark? How the heck would you be able to pull it off? Like how? Anybody want to tell me how? You'd have to be a god. Thankfully though, the second act is finally behind us. Watch how more than half of this video is going to be taken up by the second act, and look at that, no time bonus. How utterly disgraceful, Blake. How utterly disgraceful. But that's behind us now, so we're going to go to the Underwater Maze Escape in Lost Labyrinth Act 3. And if you notice, the beginning of the third act is a bit of an homage to the beginning of a third act in Lost Labyrinth in turn. Albeit the bed and the pop-up underground are a little differently placed, but other than that, it's a fitting homage. Which brings me to another point about Sonic 4. It was made around the time that Sonic Team started resorting to nostalgia in the hopes of bringing more players over to their games. Like, you might have already realized this with Sonic Generations, both episodes of Sonic 4, and of course there was Sonic Mania, although that one was executed very, very well. And with Generations, as a matter of fact. Fourth, on the other hand, was a mixture of nostalgia and its own thing, neither of which was, well... And speaking of being poorly executed, I was about to drown this poor blue boy! Come on! But speaking of drowning, yes, that is the drowning theme for Sonic 4, and it's not particularly intimidating for a theme that's supposed to signal incoming doom if you stay underwater for too long. Because just like us humans, Sonic cannot breathe underwater, so if he stays underwater for like, I believe 20 to 30 seconds, probably closer to 30 seconds, he will instantly drown and lose alive. And the same rule will govern any Sonic game where water is included. And speaking of water, occasionally you will come across these containers where you have to push out the block that is serving as a plug, keeping the water trapped inside. You have to push it out by keeping your movement option, whether it be the analog stick or the D-pad, tilted towards the right to remove the plug and be able to exit that section. And I suggest grabbing the speed shoes here because this is going to get kind of stressful in a matter of seconds. And that's why. Shoutouts to the very beginning of Hydro City Act 2 where you had to outrun that crushing wall. And it's a lot faster than the one in Hydro City. Just to warn you. So yeah, better pick it up. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, we made it. Just Barely, but we made it. Well, I don't think that was all too bad. Could have been a lot worse. So yeah, we're gonna pick up the invincibility, press this button, and unfortunately I have to go for another swim. Man, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I can't swim! The water is not one of my greatest friends in life, and apparently Sonic feels the same way. But luckily for him, he can basically go G as a hedgehog and run across water. I, on the other hand, am not only unable to swim, I also cannot successfully navigate those spiked balls around that green badnik without getting myself hurt. I didn't even mean to homing attack, but the way that I was drifting there, I wasn't going to be able to move out of the way of that attack in time, and I lost all my rings. Dang it! But thinking of badniks, that pink one we just destroyed is also a fitting callback to one of the badniks seen in Sonic 1's Labyrinth Zone. And as I was saying earlier, Sonic 1 was made around this time when Sonic Team started relying on nostalgia in an effort to charm people with their games again, and while nostalgia can work, at this point it's just being overdone. Like with Sonic Mania, it made sense because for Sonic's 25th anniversary, it was a fitting tribute to his history, and one of the best executed tributes to his history, if I do say so myself. I mean, it's like my favorite game. So it shouldn't surprise you, but I had that opinion. Also, be very careful here. There's a spike bed directly underneath that ledge inside that water bed. So while you are trying to push that plug out, you'll have to occasionally backtrack in the opposite direction so you don't end up ramming into the spike bed and hurting yourself while you're trying to make your escape, as you have just now seen. Okay, we got that waterfall right here. And to the left and right of it, there are some switches that we'll need to press in order to finish the act. I think it's just this one. And now we need to find one more. So as soon as we go back to the very start of the waterfall, is it right here? Yes, it is. So once you press both of these switches, you just have to slide back down the waterfall at the right, go into the first ledge, and you have found yourself at the very end of Act 3. For comparison to Act 2, it was a lot more tolerable, but of course, if you're not sure how to handle both water beds, one of which has a spike bed trapped inside it, you could find yourself being equally stressed out by this act, just like in Act 2. Thankfully, that's all well and done, and now we've got the Lost Labyrinth Zone boss. And I mentioned before that the bosses for Sonic 4 Episode 1 felt somewhat uninspired. However, as of Lost Labyrinth, I actually think that this game starts to redeem itself in that respect, because this isn't so nostalgia-reliant, at least not 100% nostalgia-reliant, as opposed to the first two bosses. Like, you played the Title Tempest boss in Sonic CD, you might recall having to pursue Eggman through it. I could have spin dashed here, honestly, to account for all those badniks. But you might remember, you recall having to chase Badnik, I almost said Badnik, Robotnik, through the boss act in Title Tempest, before you faced him underwater. This time around, you have the threat of rising water to deal with while you're pursuing him, but there's a second phase of this boss, and it doesn't involve fighting him underwater, thankfully. Though, it does involve an equally stressful gimmick in the form of crushing walls. Now and then, Robotnik will position himself to the left or right, and each time he makes that gesture, these pillars will start to come out. You have to be very, very careful not to get crushed by them while you are attacking him. Thankfully, they take a long time to remove themselves from the interior of the wall, so you have plenty of time to foresee them and make your attack. Thankfully, I've been using the word thankfully an awful lot, I'm sorry about that, but we nailed 4 hits while we were pursuing him through the first phase where we had to deal with rising water, so we only have 4 more hits to nail to finish this boss. And that's just all well and good, because finally Lost Labyrinth is behind us. You will not be missed, my guy. You most certainly will not be missed. Good riddance. Anyway, if this episode seemed a bit more lengthy than usual, I have to apologize for that. But at the same time, you can't really blame me. The second act was always so puzzling. Even though the blocks that made up the walls were specifically assigned to the torches seen in Act 2, but even years later, they always managed to bug me. And speaking of acts that bug me, this one isn't going to be any different. Although, oddly enough, I find myself enjoying this stage a lot more than I do with Lost Labyrinth Zone. And this is the Mad Gear Zone, which is in turn the 4th and the second to last stage in the game. I say second to last because we still have the X Station Zone to worry about. But that's not going to be until the next video, so that will do it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope thus far you are enjoying this playthrough, because I believe we are 50% done with it, as we only have the Mad Gear Zone, X Station Zone, and then a compilation of all the special stages to look forward to. Sonic, chill, I'll get to you, my man. And then we'll be done with this series. So if you did enjoy this video, I think you know the drill. Slap that like button and drop those comments. Always eager to hear from you. And to keep up with my Sonic content, hit that sub button and ring that bell so you don't miss out on anything from me. I do appreciate you all supporting my content so much, and definitely means a lot to me. Oh look, Tyler chilling on the interior of the Mad Gear factory because he's that impatient. You might as well go to sleep, my man, because we ain't gonna be running through this zone just yet. I also would like to give a shout out to all of my partners on Discord for being so incredibly supportive and for having such amazing communities themselves. Please go and follow them. They definitely deserve your attention. And on that note, I will see you all next time. Until then, peace! And seriously, good riddance to Lost Labyrinth. Blue blurs for life. I will see you later. Take care.